went live on Instagram without saying a word beforehand. No filter, no plan, just a blank look and some lyrics that sounded like regret. Justin Bieber appeared shirtless, unsteady, and clearly saying things he couldn't take back. Fans weren't just surprised by how he looked. They were shaken by what he said. "I'm sick and tired of hurting you, baby." Was that a lyric, or was he confessing something real? The timing raised eyebrows. Just a few days earlier, Selena Gomez released a song that many believed was aimed straight at Justin. Her new music, her engagement ring, her relationship with Benny Blanco was all blowing up online. And then suddenly, Justin breaks down on camera. People wondered if this was meant to throw shade, a sign of heartbreak, or something more serious, because this wasn't just a random outburst. It felt like he was trying to say something Selena never asked to hear. What happened next wasn't just emotional, it turned into something unforgettable. On March 29, 2025, Justin went live on Instagram, and within moments, everyone could tell something was wrong. This wasn't a surprise concert or a clever promo stunt. It looked like he was falling apart in front of the camera shirtless, looking thin, and sitting in what looked like a dark basement. Justin didn't seem like himself. Over 6,000 people tuned in, watching a moment that felt raw and chaotic. It didn't feel like content. It felt like real pain. He started mumbling at first, but then it turned into something deeper. Justin began playing rough, unreleased songs demos that weren't polished or ready, but clearly full of emotion. These weren't just songs. They were like diary entries set to music. One lyric said, "I'm tired of pretending I'm okay. This isn't life's punishment." The comment section lit up. People started recording the stream, analyzing every word, wondering if it was all about Selena. Was this his breaking point? Then Justin said something that made everyone stop. He admitted that just playing those songs made him feel anxious. That simple truth hit hard. It wasn't just about the lyrics. It was about the emotional baggage they carried. And when he finally ended the live stream, viewers noticed the shift in his body. His mouth tightened, his whole vibe changed. Experts later pointed out that his body language showed signs of deep stress. This didn't look like a publicity stunt. It looked like someone losing control in real time. People on social media reacted instantly, but they weren't just posting reactions, they were digging deeper. They started making connections and sharing theories. Some believed Justin was reacting to Selena's engagement. Others thought he was dealing with something much heavier, and the timing was too perfect to ignore. Just days earlier, Selena and Benny Blanco had dropped a song that many fans believed was aimed at Justin. The track, titled "How Does It Feel to Be Forgotten?" was far from subtle. One line said, "You walked in, big grin, talking like we're friends." And that line alone set off a wave of speculation. The mood was icy, the timing was intense, and the meaning was hard to miss. Stan Twitter exploded with theories. Some were convinced that Selena had closed the chapter on her past with Justin and that his live stream accidentally reopened it. The lyrics in her song and his sudden breakdown were just too closely aligned. Even though Selena later denied that the song was about anyone in particular, most people didn't believe her. One fan tweeted, "We've seen this pattern before. The words, the vibe, the messages, it's all too familiar." For Justin, this wasn't just about feelings. It was about public history. From the fans' perspective, Selena's engagement marked her final goodbye. And Justin's livestream proved he hadn't moved on. The theories didn't end with just the song. Fans began connecting the dots between Selena's happiness and Justin's sudden distress. When she got engaged to Benny in December 2024, many saw it as a strong statement, almost like she was showing she'd won the breakup. Then she followed it with a song that sounded like a breakup anthem, and people began to wonder, was Justin struggling to deal with it? Just over a week after Selena's song dropped, Justin posted a meme. On the surface, it was a light joke about women acting dramatic on social media after getting engaged, using a Lord of the Rings reference. But given the timing, it looked like a jab at Selena. Fans immediately connected it to her engagement post and viral ring photo. They saw it as a clear sign that Selena's relationship was still on his mind. And as Justin's actions started mirroring the themes of Selena's music, the online theories got even louder. From his emotional live stream to the cryptic meme, everything seemed to circle back to her. One fan said it best, "This isn't Random. This is reaction content. The timing, the energy, the tension, it all fits together like a puzzle. To many, it looked like Selena had moved on while Justin was stuck in the past. Whether he meant to or not, every move he made was being watched. And every clue added to the narrative, and the further fans looked into it, the more complicated things became. This wasn't just about a breakup. This was emotional wreckage from a relationship that never really healed. Justin and Selena weren't just another celebrity couple. For many fans, they were the love story they grew up with. From their early days to their very public breakups, their entire history played out. In the spotlight, Justin had admitted in the past that it left him deeply affected. In a 2020 interview, he said his time with Selena left him reckless and bitter. He even confessed he wasn't emotionally ready to be with anyone, let alone get married until years later. Selena had also opened up about the damage in an NPR interview. That same year, she called the relationship emotionally abusive. She said she had to fight her way out of it just to start over. It wasn't drama, it was real recovery. She said it took her 5 years to rebuild after everything she went through. That's not just moving on. It's healing from the ground up. So when Selena sings about someone acting like they're over it when they're not, it hits differently. Fans relate not just because they've heard the story before, but because they felt like they lived it too. Her journey wasn't just in the music. It was documented in her 2022 Apple TV Plus film My Mind and Me, where she called the breakup both the hardest and most necessary moment in her life. That mix of heartbreak and personal growth is what made people root for her. Selena wasn't just showing off a new boyfriend. She was showing that she had rebuilt her life piece by piece. And you could see the difference. In a 2025 interview with Jay Shetty, Selena shared something very real. She said her past relationships had made her emotionally unstable and quick to react. That's why she took a 5-year break from dating. She said it plainly, "I wouldn't have been in the right headspace. And I don't think he deserved what I had gone through before." In other words, she knew she wasn't healed yet and didn't want to drag old pain into something new. Her honesty showed how far she'd come. She was self-aware, calm, and grounded. This made Justin's situation even more noticeable. While Selena appeared peaceful and happy, Justin looked like he was falling apart. She had clearly spent time working on herself, and he looked like he was still carrying every painful memory. The internet noticed the contrast. While Selena talked about being in a healthy relationship, Justin was sharing sad music, posting strange memes, and having emotional outbursts online. It was hard not to compare the two. She had moved on. He seemed stuck. And everyone was watching. Justin's behavior started looking less like coincidence and more like a pattern. Just a few days after his emotional live stream, he posted another meme on April 3rd, 2025. It was a Lord of the Rings scene with the caption, "Girls on social media when they get engaged." If this had come out of nowhere, people might have ignored it. But with everything going on his live stream, Selena's song, and his offbeat energy, it felt like a bitter reminder that he hadn't let go. Fans didn't hold back. Comments came in fast. "Why now? He's clearly not okay." And it wasn't just fans talking anymore. Experts started chiming in too. A therapist from Manhattan and even a surgeon from North Carolina voiced concern in the Daily Mail. Therapist from Manhattan and even a surgeon from North Carolina voiced concern in the Daily Mail. They noted Justin's weight loss, his anxiety, and overall emotional state. This wasn't just drama. It raised real mental health alarms. Justin has a history of serious health problems, including Lyme disease and facial paralysis from Ramsay-Hunt syndrome. He's also opened up in the past about battling addiction. So seeing him look so fragile hit different this time. This wasn't just about a breakup anymore. It was about his well-being. A global star who had grown up in front of cameras now seemed to be unraveling under the same spotlight that made him famous. Still, his PR team tried to brush it all off. They told Radar Online that Justin was doing great, focusing on his family and baby Jack, and working on new music, but fans weren't convinced. The statement felt too polished, too out of sync with what they had just witnessed. One minute, Justin was live on Instagram, clearly distressed. The next, his team was painting a picture of calm and happiness. It didn't match. It didn't feel real. To many, it felt like damage control. Instead of clearing things up, the statement only made people more suspicious. It made them think something deeper was going on, something they weren't being told. At the center of it all was Selena and Benny Blanco's engagement. Announced in December 2024, what should have been a happy moment turned into a flashpoint. Not only had Selena moved on, but she got engaged to someone who used to be one of Justin's close friends. That part stung. It wasn't just an ex getting married. It felt like a betrayal layered on top of everything else. Benny wasn't just a random guy. He and Justin had been close. They'd made music together, supported each other, and been there through some of Justin's lowest points. So when Benny popped up in Selena's life, not just as her boyfriend, but as her fiancé, it hit hard. Insiders said Justin was shocked. Not angry at first, just silent. And that silence said a lot. Benny wasn't some stranger. He knew the whole story. He'd heard Justin's side, seen the pain, and now he was the one holding Selena's hand. That wasn't just a hard goodbye. It felt like the past crashing into the present. Justin couldn't just ignore it. His actions showed it was getting to him. Friends noticed a change. Justin went from living a quiet married life to being tense, moody, and distant. Then he unfollowed Benny on social media, which fans took as a loud and clear message. It wasn't just a click. It was symbolic. The friendship was over, and to those who had been watching, it confirmed what they suspected. This engagement didn't just hurt. It cut deep. Selena had moved on. Benny was stepping up, and Justin, he seemed lost, trying to keep smiling while watching the people he trusted. Most built a future without him. The emotional weight of it all became more obvious. Insiders began sharing that Justin had been dealing with sleepless nights and sudden mood swings. They described his behavior as manic energy, and most of it, they said, could be traced back to Selena's engagement. One source put it simply, it hurt. Not because Justin didn't want her to be happy, but because her happiness meant the end of something he'd never really let go of. This wasn't just turning a page. It felt like the book had closed, and he hadn't been ready for that for years. Justin's name had been tied to a love story the public wouldn't let go of. But now Selena wasn't just over it. She was thriving, and that hit differently. So fans started to see his live stream, the sad lyrics, the memes, not as isolated moments, but as reactions. Reactions to her success, her peace, her growth. And the posts didn't stop. Whether it was a selfie paired with a song that screamed heartbreak, or a meme dropped during her album release, everything started to feel deliberate. People saw a pattern. It looked like Justin was trying to hold on to control in private while falling apart in public. The difference between their lives couldn't have been clearer. Selena had found peace. Justin was still looking for it. This wasn't just about drama anymore. It was grief. Loud, messy, and spilling into every part of Justin's online world. And this grief didn't come from nowhere. Justin wasn't only mourning the end of a relationship, he was also dealing with the weight of a public that wouldn't let it go. The obsession with him and Selena, what fans once called Jelena, had never really faded. If anything, it was now roaring back stronger. Every time he shared a song, posted a meme, or looked emotionally off, people circled it right back to her. Even if that wasn't his goal, the emotional toll was real. Even when Justin tried to move forward, the comparisons kept pulling him back. Every headline, every comment thread, every fan theory dragged him into the past. It's one thing to have regrets. It's another thing to have millions of people constantly reminding you of them. And that's what made this situation different. Justin wasn't just reacting to Selena. He was also reacting to a world that wouldn't stop replaying the story of them. Selena's fans, Justin's fans, the media, they all turned a closed chapter into a revolving door. It became impossible to tell the difference between heartbreak and humiliation. This wasn't just one man going through something in private. It was the emotional crash that comes from living your most painful memories in public and never being given the space to heal. As expected, fans split into two camps. One side was seriously worried. These were longtime supporters, the ones who had grown up with Justin and felt a real connection. They saw his live stream not as content, but as a red flag. Comments like, "He's not okay. And we all know where this is headed," flooded social media. These weren't trolls or critics. These were people who genuinely cared, who had been watching him for over a decade. To them, this wasn't entertainment. It was alarming. But the other side of the internet didn't hold back either. The skeptics, The cynics, the ones who were tired of hearing about Justin and Selena, they mocked the live stream. They called it dramatic, performative, and immature. It's been nearly 10 years. Why is he still acting like this? One tweet read, some joked that his kid's first word would be Selena, and others said he was stuck in the past while pretending to play the role of a stable husband and father. The memes were brutal, and viral celebrity culture doesn't always show compassion when someone's in pain. Sometimes we turn their lowest moments into jokes. And for Justin, that kind of ridicule wasn't just painful. It added a new layer to the struggle. What made it worse was that the jokes didn't stay online, they started showing up in his real life. Tabloids ran with the gossip. Creators on YouTube and TikTok made long theory videos, and just like that, the spotlight shifted again, this time onto Justin and Hailey. People started wondering how Hailey was feeling through all of this. Was she watching the same live streams, hearing the same lyrics, seeing the same decline in energy? Fans didn't hold back. One comment said, "No wonder Hailey looks so tense. Her husband's mentally stuck in 2016. Others went further, accusing Justin of dragging his past into his marriage and causing emotional chaos that Hailey never signed. Up for then came the wave of fan scrutiny. Hailey's social media activity was dissected frame by frame. Her silence, her facial expressions, her absence at public events, all of it became evidence. People began saying she looked checked out. Others claimed all anyone talked about in their house was Selena morning, noon, and night. What started as personal drama turned into a full-blown public obsession. Social media fed on it, spinning theories and creating stories with every new post. The facts barely mattered anymore. The story had taken over, and now Hailey wasn't just Justin's wife. She was part of a storyline the internet refused to close, and with that came the memes. The internet flooded with jokes like, that baby's first word will be Selena Gomez and Karma wears rare beauty. People weren't just reacting, they were using humor to process what looked like a marriage falling apart in public. But under all the jokes was something darker. No one was laughing with Justin and Hailey anymore, they were laughing at them. Fans stopped caring about what was real and what wasn't. Everything became a punchline or another TikTok theory waiting to go viral. And the theories only got wilder. Some started tying Justin's behavior to deeper Hollywood conspiracies. They even brought up names like Diddy, painting Justin as just another figure caught in the crosshairs of the industry. Were these theories a stretch? Absolutely. But they spread fast because online speculation travels faster than truth. And in the middle of it all, Hailey was left playing the hardest role, being the other woman in a story that ended years ago but refused to die. Suddenly, trouble in paradise wasn't just a whisper. It was a headline. Then came a small moment that got blown up. Hailey briefly unfollowed Justin on Instagram only to follow him again. A few hours later, some said it was probably just a glitch. Others called it a quiet sign of frustration. Either way, it added fuel to the fire. Insiders began saying that Hailey was emotionally drained, tired of watching Justin get stuck in a loop he couldn't break. And then things took another turn. Rumors started swirling that Justin wanted to leave the US altogether. No one could confirm if it was true, but it didn't matter. Fans and gossip blogs picked it up and ran with it, creating a story where Justin wasn't just caught in the past, he was trying to run from the present. The comparisons between Hailey and Selena only made things worse. Hailey's every move, what she wore, what she said in interviews, even her silences was measured against Selena's. It was the kind of emotional competition no one could win, and Hailey couldn't escape it. A 2022 podcast clip resurfaced where Hailey had tried to clear the air. She made it clear, "I was never with him while he was with her. I would never do that." But that statement didn't shift public opinion, because for a lot of people, she was always going to be the girl after Selena, the one who came in after the storm, but could never fully outrun its clouds. Now, with Selena moving forward and Justin unraveling, the internet had already decided who the villain was. Facts didn't seem to matter anymore. The online narrative had taken over and Hailey was sinking in it. From the beginning, the internet had cast her as the outsider in someone else's story that was supposed to be over but never really ended. In that same 2022 interview, Hailey talked about the emotional toll the hate took on her. She explained how hard it was to constantly be targeted by Selena's fans. She begged people not to tear women down and said she respected Selena. "She doesn't owe me anything," she said calmly and sincerely, but empathy wasn't what the internet wanted. It wanted someone to blame, and since she was married to the man Selena once loved, Hailey became the easiest target. Even when Hailey stayed quiet, the online pressure never stopped. Every time she liked a TikTok, people said it was shady. If she looked serious at an event, it became proof of problems. If she posted a meme, fans swore it was aimed at Selena. It didn't matter how far-fetched the claims were.